High school teacher and coach in Dakota pleads guilty to being in possession of child pornography Tuesday. 37-year-old Daniel Sheets was first arrested in August of 2023 following an investigation into alleged inappropriate contact with several juvenile girls. Two more investigations saw Sheets charged with additional counts of the same crime. Sheets is scheduled to be sentenced December 18th.